All right, we're here.
Hey, how you doing, brother?
Well, I'm doing. I'm doing. I'm not doing good, Matt.
Better than the people in what, North, South Carolina?
North Carolina. Yeah, that's one of the reasons I'm not doing good. See, I was born in the 1960s, and I thought growing up that we had passed the Crusades, but somehow they've returned.
I think these are making the Crusades look good.
And now we have these weird holy wars of God is going to smite you because you're not living the way I want you to.
Right,
So
and that
now,
I is not God. The I is them when you say that.
so now they're committing acts of domestic terrorism. They're
In the
actually
name of religion.
they're actually terrorizing people of this country in the name of God. Not just religion, it's Christianity.
Right. It's not like we're talking Baptist or something like
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
it's not Muslims, it's not Hindus, it's not Jews, it's not Baptists, it's Christianity.
See, the thing I'm beginning to think, at least myself, on the opinion of that, it's like they're creating the very thing that, one, they've been trying to avoid, or two, they've been waiting for forever, and that's the rapture. Like the putting the U.S. embassy in Jerusalem is supposed to be a sign, and things along that line. It's like they're trying to make these signs happen to justify their activity, the way they are in society, and no one is supposed to know the day, the hour, the second when he's supposed to come. Stop trying to figure it out. You're not going to know.
Well, there was a drag show in North Carolina, and
Heaven forbid.
In order to stop it, they destroyed two electrical grids. Well, one electrical grid, two substations.
Yep. Nearly 40,000 people without power. And that's people on oxygen machines and home needing that electricity for their own longevity, their own life.
Which they say it may not be returned. The power may not be returned until Thursday.
Yeah.
Hospitals, people, with disabilities, they have no electric.
Mm-hmm.
Food is going to spoil.
Car crashes, no lights.
They opened up basically a shelter in a sporting arena in order to take care of those who don't have food, and they're doing things like dropping off ice and other supplies to people who are at home in order to keep their food fresh.
Right, because it's not cold 24 hours a day yet.
and not only did this happen, but in Florida. And then I believe it was Ohio.
Oh, I only thought it was localized. Talk to me.
Florida had demonstrations by the Proud Boys, and they blocked the entrance to a drag show.
A separate one, I take it, right?
Oh yeah, a different one. This one was in Florida. That one was in North Carolina. So the three places had issues with drag shows in the name of God. And
I'm waiting for the Salem witch trials to make a return. I mean, how far back are they trying to make America? Jesus.
That's what I'm worried about, because there's also been I hate to say this, but there was a cross burning as well. And
I didn't hear.
I believe it was Ohio. So. We've got cross burnings. We've got guys in white hoods hiding their faces in Florida. We've got random acts of terrorism in North Carolina.
Yeah.
We're back in the 50s and 60s with the KKK.
And even, to be honest, worse than that. I mean, we're almost approaching levels of lawlessness. I mean, where the fuck are the police on these people? If they were Black Lives Matter, man, we'd have the military out. The National Guard would be called out. I mean,
I mean, there's
for
video
those
of them.
protests in Florida anyway.
There's video of them walking down the sidewalk in military file, and they're all in what appears to be combat jackets.
Yeah, and they're covering their faces too,
and their faces and heads are covered with these white balaclavas. It looks like.
Yeah.
And it's like, why are you covering your face if you're doing righteous work?
Right. I would think that you'd want to be seen for, take the credit for that.
Don't you want God to know who's doing this? He can't tell if you got your face covered.
No, I don't understand how they can justify this is okay, but if anyone else, were to do something similar to protest whatever they feel is up, that's all of a sudden it's oh my God. The sky is falling if somebody else protests.
Right.
You're flickering out, buddy.
Yeah, I know. I got that. But the problem I have is that this is all in the name of religion.
Right.
Nothing else.
Right. That's a problem. That's really scary because you have these people that somehow think that what they're doing is a message from God.
Right.
I mean, look, I'm all for, I've got beliefs and stuff too, but to go out and you have to think about it, taking out the substations, they potentially murdered people. Very most likely a few people are going to die from this. I mean, there's a large number of people that this has affected. You're talking people at home with oxygen and so on and so forth. So that means that they were willing to kill potentially innocent people they did not know for their cause, to stop a drag show. But what about all the Christian people that they're hurt? Oh, are they going to say, well, God is going to make sure they're okay?
Oh yeah, God's looking out for them, just like with COVID.
Yeah, I know. And you remember during COVID, I want to say I told you this, that I told you that it's going to come that the Republicans died at a higher rate, a much higher, significant higher rate, actually is what I think I said. And I was right. And I'm sorry to say, but yeah.
But there is something I want to say about this, and that is when things like 9/11 happened, people went around beating up anyone who looked Indian. Yeah,
anyone brown or tan or whatever. Yeah. Yeah, if you were even presumed Muslim.
Right, going into stores and just trashing them and whatnot. And they say,
I had guys at work that were talking like that too.
Because they were terrorists, is what they said. Yeah. But now, the ones who did that are the terrorists now.
Oh no! One person's terrorist is another person's patriot.
I was going to say, should we go and start finding them? Anyone who comes out of a church and start attacking them? No.
Good point.
It's if you're religious and I'm not. I wouldn't call myself religious, but I know enough to know enough.
Right.
And if you're religious, if you're Christian, I'm sure it says in the Bible not to judge lest you be judged.
Yeah, right.
And that only God has the right to judge people. So
don't still throw stones in a glass house.
So what are you doing going over and stopping somebody from doing something? Where does it say that you have the right to do that? Mm-hmm. They're not touching you and they're not bothering you. And don't tell me they're pedophiles, because look at all you fucking Republicans. Yeah. Look at Q. Q was arrested for pedophilia.
I know. And it was self-disclosure. He fucked himself. Dumbass.
I mean, come on. You got Matt Gaetz bringing 17-year-olds across state lines. You got all sorts of coked up sex parties going on in the Republican Party, and then you're going, oh, well, we can't.
I know, like Madison Cawthorn was right. about those sex-fueled orgies and shit that they were talking about, those drug-induced orgies. It's like the one time he told the truth. You know, I mean, I don't want to imagine Chuck Grassley in a thong or something, but wow, dude, you know,
Mitch McConnell,
all the corruption, all the corruption that they've been trying, all the constituents, let's say, the people of saying, you know, the corruption have to stop, drain the swamp. We got pedophiles and cannibals in our government and yada yada, all the other stuff. But it's in their party. It's in their party, not ours. It's in theirs. You know, all the things that they hate and they despise. It's in their own party. And
Chris Christie's, I believe it was his niece, just got arrested for a bunch of shit. Oh yeah.
I guess I'm not surprised. But I mean, how can you, you know, how can you? It's hard to wrap my head around how they can talk out of one side of their mouth and eat out of the other. I just don't. I don't understand. It makes no sense.
It's not just that. It's that they have a community, be it big or small. They have a community that is supporting them. Somehow they sit back and go, yeah, go team. We need to stop these people. And it's like, when did the morality police show up?
Yeah, right. I was thinking earlier, man, that these people, they don't need outside influence because they've done it to themselves. You know, they've corrupted their own minds. They've gone down these conspiracies on their own and then created new ones by themselves spontaneously. I don't know. It's like this is such a large, it became a little snowball and just spread. It's like things spontaneously came up, you know, because of the main lie. It's so bizarre how this has taken hold of such a large part of the country.
What I don't understand is, when are we actually going to stand up and say enough is enough? There is a separation of church and state. Cut your shit, or you'll be punished like anybody else.
Right. There's a separation for a reason. What religion are you going to pick? And who makes yours the best, or the one that's supposed to be above the others? You know, you can't. It's you can't do it that way. That's why we have a separation, so it allows our population to do whatever the fuck they want to as freely as they wish. You can create your own religion. You can have the religion of Steve if you wish. You know? That's the beauty of this country. You can have that, right?
Do you know that there's actually a religion called Pastafarian? It is. It's the gospel of the flying spaghetti monster. And a woman who is a member was able to convince DMV that she's allowed to have her picture taken with a spaghetti colander on her head because it's her religion.
She doesn't need an excuse to wear a spaghetti colander on her fucking head.
For her picture.
I wanted, whatever. If I want to go, if I want one, well, I don't think I could have it as my driver's license photo, but I might be able to push for it. You know, I don't think. Who cares? So she wants a fucking picture with it. Whatever.
I would say because it's a legal document, you really shouldn't. It shouldn't be allowed. Everything should be uniform.
What documents are you referring?
The picture for your passport or your driver's license.
Oh yeah. Like you should. I don't know. I wonder if you wear glasses, if you should have your picture with it on or off, or you should be just your face.
I don't know if it makes a difference because the flash from the camera may distort the picture coming off the glasses. I don't know.
That would be my only thing. Would be glasses. But other than that, I agree with you. Yeah, no hats, no nothing, because those are supposed to identify you if you're a fucking douchebag criminal.
Now, there is one exception, in my opinion. and that is a hijab for a Muslim. You don't have to cover the mouth. You can't cover the mouth, but that is it's an absolute already established religious custom.
Right, but I'm beginning to wonder, should that be on your driver's license photo?
Well, according to them, they should
No.
not uncover their heads. According to their religion, they should not uncover their heads in public. And in order to take that picture, you have to do that.
Right.
It goes against their religious beliefs.
Well, then they probably.
I agree that
I don't
should
know.
be. It would be just like a Jew taking his driver's license picture with his yarmulke.
Right, but with the yarmulke, it doesn't disguise their face.
No, that's what I'm saying. You don't get the. I'm not talking about the whole thing that covers the face. I'm talking about.
Yeah, they would have to. They would have to have at least
the hair, like a nun's habit.
I think if your face is exposed for a driver's license, government ID, something to that nature, yeah, or with something like that, because you're never going to have your face exposed in public. And something like that, maybe you have two pictures, like you flip it over on the back and there's your face, or there's your hijab, right, or whatever your normal picture would be, because you do go about in society as in a disguise. That's part of your religion. So it would be much harder to identify you. When I hold this up, I won't be able to identify you, although it would be quite hard anyway, even with the hijab picture. But still, I don't know. That'd be about the only thing I could think of on that. Because I think identification is important. There's reasons for it. Especially when it's come to, what if it's my money someone's trying to steal, or my home, or whatever.
Right.
So yeah, I would think that there would have to be exceptions for religious or otherwise. It's because how our society has grown. If you don't want to be a part of this society, then maybe buy an island.
I also believe that if it's not cold out and it's not Halloween, you shouldn't be allowed to be walking down the street with your face with a mask. Now, granted, it may be. Let me rephrase that. Unless it's part of an established religion, I don't think these guys like the Oath Keepers walking down the street with a balaclava on, in walking in unison, should be allowed. I think they should be unmasked immediately.
There's not so sure how I feel about that, but you have to remember too, like cities like LA, and just to name one city in this country anyway, the pollution is so bad. People wear masks. Before COVID, it's a quite common thing, especially in a lot of Japanese cities and things like that. The pollution is so bad, masks are normal way of life. So I think if it's a health risk thing, then I think there ought to be limits to every rule.
There's a difference,
or exceptions, I should say.
There's a difference between a health risk thing and a group of 20 walking in double file in unison down the street with white balaclavas.
Yeah, I know, but if you I don't know.
It's no longer.
I think if they're not
thing.
True, but if they're not doing criminal activity, if they're just saying that the asshole racist piece of shit things that they say, and there's no violence, that's whatever. It's in their right to do so.
Oh, it's in their right to walk like that. Absolutely,
I think if there's though, and they get caught or whatever, then yeah, maybe you can add a charge of concealment or something to that nature, or it ups the charge from a misdemeanor to a felony because they did it knowingly. It was premeditated.
See, they went down in Florida and covered the sidewalk so that people would not have access to the
event,
to the drag show.
Yeah, I saw that today.
That's illegal.
Yeah,
you can't block a public right away.
Yeah, there's even for it that I can't remember off the top of my head, but you're right. Yes, you can't. You have to allow. You can't impede traffic.
Right. Even picket lines, people on strike, they have to allow people through.
Yeah.
And
agreed.
And so the minute they started blocking that sidewalk, cops should have been there pushing them off.
Yeah.
But I have this feeling, because it's a Republican state, and DeSantis is all about, it's the Christian thing to do, that these cops don't care to get involved.
Or they're on the same side. They're driving 20 miles an hour to get there instead of 50 with the lights going.
Right. This is what I'm talking about. I don't know where else, how else to take it. If you're in a Republican state like that, and with someone like DeSantis who's going to shield these people, you're pretty much fucked.
Yeah. For now, until we our states are like weak because aspects of the states are not controlled by, they're divided. Some part of the state's controlled by one side and the other's controlled by the other. So they're purple. The state's a purple color. So it really weakens the rest of the country because that means our Senate is purple and so on and so forth. So it's really hard to get any legislation done, any laws done, and or federally go after places like Florida and things like that are doing things so illegal. Because I don't see why DeSantis, as a governor, can't be brought up on federal charges because of how he's mishandling the state. I bet you there's avenues to go that way for a federal government. There must be, otherwise the governor would be above the law, and no one's above the law. So there's got to be a check and a balance on that.
During the protests,
Trump should have been impeached.
During the protests, when Trump went out and had them all shoot tear gas and all that shit just so he could get a picture with the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They weren't breaking the law at all. They were peacefully protesting in a space they were supposed to be, and this happened to them. Now you've got the Proud Boys and the Oath Keepers demonstrating, blocking, impeding traffic.
Yep. And it's okay.
And nobody does anything.
Because they're received with a parade,
Is it because, and I hate to say this because that really makes me, I don't know, but is it because they're white?
Yes, that's exactly why. Yes.
Or is it because they're Christian? And
well, no. If you're just presumed Christian, you haven't noticed that. I talked to a stranger. Where the frig was I? Whatever. Oh yeah, I was at Relief. I was getting my weekly supplies, and the dude I was talking to in line had made that assumption. You're Christian, aren't you? It's like, what? Yeah, man, sure. I've had that happen in other places I've been to. There's a presumption that I'm Christian. You don't fucking know me.
Because you're white.
Yes, because I'm white. And it's like, you just made that click for me. It's like, wow. Yeah, so it's presumed if you're white, you're Christian. How could you be otherwise? And if you're liberal, you're just broken. You're a whatever. You're a piece of shit. You might as well be one of them.
So then my question is, should the blacks, the Jews, the Muslims, the Hindus, the people from the Burmese, I forget what they
East Asia?
Yeah. And the Baptists, should they all get together and fight against their religious persecution? Should they start taking it to the Christians? Meeting
legislatively, yeah, I think so. Legislatively,
meeting them in the street with force to force.
No, not force. No, with what their religions are based on, and usually that's a form of compassion. It's a form of peace. It's different than what they are. I think they stay in character. Now, if they're attacked, that's another matter. All those religions do have limitations for preservation of one's life and family and so on, livestock and whatever. So you can defend yourself. You just can't be the aggressor. And if I say yes to that, but they need to be true to their beliefs, because these Christians clearly are not. They've thrown their beliefs out the window long time ago and just kind of set them on fire out back with the books and shit that they burned with them. That's what I think. Frozen. Oh, there you go. Your mouth moved.
I think that the minute you burn a cross on my lawn,
I think that's an attack.
I should be allowed to get anyone who will listen to me and strike back.
I do feel that that's threatening. That's an attack. That's a preemptive attack. I agree. I wouldn't stand for that shit either.
You know, I hate to say this, but crazy people are using crazy people are using religion as an excuse, as a crutch. Look at Kanye West. Or Ye, whatever the hell he wants to call himself now. I don't give a shit. His name is Kanye. That's Ye. Now, look at him. What did he say? He said the problem with Elon Musk is he's not letting Alex Jones on Twitter because he's Christian.
Yeah.
It's it's Christian bigotry.
Oh, yeah. But
like,
you know what? You know, the thing is I bet you that these people that are claiming to be Christian are not. They're not Christian.
Look at their actions.
They've never gone through the process. They've never gone through the, hey, God.
Actions. And you know what the funny part is? They went and said that Biden is not a real Christian.
He can't be.
Even though he goes to church every Sunday.
And he's not a Christian. He's Catholic.
Well, they're still a Christian.
No, it's not. Catholic is a Catholic. A Christian is a Christian. They're separate.
No. A Catholic.
You don't think so?
No, Catholic is a subcategory of Christian because Christian believes that Christ was born and Christ is the Son of God. So do Catholics.
Well, they may believe the same thing, but they're not the same thing. I mean, my wife, who went to Catholic school, whatever, all the way through her life, would disagree with that. I'm sure she would. Yeah, those are very, very separate religions. They change their religions differently as well. There are things that, like the Catholic Church allows abortion. They didn't used to, but the Pope has said, he said his piece on the subject. So the Christians do not. They have no mercy. There's no mercy there for that. And the Catholics do.
Well, the Pope does. There's a lot of bishops and whatnot. Back up.
Mm-hmm.
Back up. Yeah. When you sit forward, I get a echo.
Oh, all right. Because I'm probably too close then. Yeah, I'll just move this. I had to change it leans too far back. That's the reason why I'm reading up. There, I'm back further.
But the Pope has said it. But a lot of the bishops and cardinals are not practicing it and not agreeing with it because they think he's wrong.
But boys are okay?
Yes.
Well, is that a whole nother subject? Yeah, I guess it kind of is a whole nother subject.
Yes.
But to them too, as well.
Yes, because if you think about it, the bishop.
Maybe that's why they don't want that.
The Pope is against that too, and the bishops and cardinals are still doing it.
That is true. Which tells me a lot about religion. It's still just I'm not saying there's no such thing as God and Santa Claus and all that other stuff, but just because you read it in a book, you might want to be careful how you practice that or question it.
All I'm saying is that there's no religion in this country that agrees that you should be judging people with violence.
Thinking the same thing. Yes, sir.
And that's what it boils down to. Extremists want what they want, and they will go to any means in the name of Jesus to get it.
Yep.
And I think that's the biggest problem.
I would really love to see a few comments on this subject.
Yeah, I agree. And the thing is, I'm not bashing Christians. I'm not bashing
exactly
Catholics. It's the extremists that think that they are.
It's the
God
new ones, yeah.
Jesus.
It's today's Christians. They were not the Christians I grew up with.
Kanye West literally said he was Jesus Christ.
Wow.
So
he must be on some serious acid for that.
And he was on the Alex Jones show with a gimp mask on and big friggin'
I know, and he made Jones look sane.
Yeah. Spouting how, Christians and God and blah blah blah. It's like, dude, you don't know anything about anything.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Same with his response to Kanye's talk about Nazi and Hitler. That Hitler was a good dude. He was all right. He had some good ideas.
Well, okay.
And Jones was like, no. I don't. You've got to be pulling my leg. He's like, you're punking me or something.
I can kind of understand where he's coming from.
Oh yeah, but from a dark place.
I mean,
you can't shine the light on that. Well, you could talk about it from a dark place. Sure.
Well, no. Before Hitler became Hitler, he was a really good artist. He went to art school and everything. And at one point, he was nominated, not awarded, but nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. Before all that started. Yeah, before all that started. But then he lost his mind and became an idiot.
The place that our people are going now. The same place where somehow they're more superior in some fashion.
And I can understand Kanye going, okay, well he was a good artist. He did give that to the world. He was working towards peace. He did get great, but that was early. That's like when you're just out of high school. That's
what you did after that. It got erased by what you did in the future.
If I go and join the priesthood, and I have lead a church for 5 years, and then at the end of 5 years, I take a machine gun and blow everyone in the church away. Doesn't mean I was a good guy.
Right.
Just because I did good things in the past doesn't make me a good guy. It makes me an evil bastard.
Right. That's how you end up.
Are people going to say, and think about it, are people going to say, well, he was a priest. He did really helped out his community. He was, there were some really good things about him. Or are they going to say he's a fucktard that just killed 150 people?
Right. Yeah.
Stop being so stupid. And I agree with Alex Jones, which you'll never hear me say again.
I know.
When he said, I know you're just doing this for the shock value. And he's like, I'm not doing it for that. No, yeah. You are. Kanye comes from the position of
a blind man could see that.
Even bad publicity is good publicity. Except
for what Kanye said. That's what I was getting into Jones's mind. Is he was thinking that this could hurt him pretty bad, and he's already hurting enough. He doesn't need any more. That's why he quickly, almost immediately, set that on fire and pushed it away. I give him points for that.
All right, brother.
Yeah, I guess we're time, aren't we?
Yeah, we're right about that time. So we've said our piece. It's time for you guys to put your comments in the comment section below. Feel free to tell us your mind. Be nice, behave, be good. And we will see you next time. And we will see you next time.